But let's go to the phone lines. Let's welcome to the program Joe Gatto. Joe, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm very good. How are you?
Not too bad. We appreciate your time. Your national tour is coming through Florida this weekend, and we're going to get to that in 1 second. But I wanted to talk to you about, I became one of them about 11 years ago when we adopted from the Humane Society, and I know that's one of your passions, and I wanted you to talk about that.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. I run Gatto Pups and Friends out of New York up here. It's a nonprofit where we adopt mostly elderly pups or, disabled ones who are looking for a home and take care of them up here in New York. And it's been a passion of mine for about 9 years at this point, I guess, was my first rescue. So,
how many of your dogs, your puppies that you own, have you eaten what their name is?
All of them. They're all named after Italian pastry and dessert because that's on brand for me. So I have like cannoli, biscotti, tartufo, the brother and sister fettuccine Alfredo.
Well, I didn't realize it was two. I saw fettuccine Alfredo. I thought that was the full name. I thought you gave the middle name to that pup.
No, that was that's their partnership.
Okay, perfect. So you're out on the road. Friday you'll be in Jacksonville. Saturday you're down in Miami. Sunday you're in Orlando. What's the best thing about being on tour and being back on stage?
Being on stage is the best because you get to make the people laugh, and that's what I love to do. It's been great to use this new format of stand-up comedy now over the past year and a little bit to make people forget about all the craziness that is life and come out and laugh for a little while, as we all need it, especially myself. So it's just been really great, and I love that. And getting into these towns, getting down. I love Florida, getting into Florida, but I've been going through all these little towns throughout the U.S., and it's been really nice to get in front of people and see the fans and have some fun.
Are you able to get out and see the towns, see the cities, get out and experience that? And what happens when a fan or fans, see you out on the street?
Oh, yeah, all the time I do. I mean, I love to hit up, when I get into town, I try to hit up like a little bit of shopping at the mom and pop shop local on their Main Street-ish kind of areas, get a cup of coffee at 3 o'clock, a little bit of a pastry, and then, get into it with some fans, take some selfies, have some fun, get to know about the towns. It's my favorite part of touring.
So Joe, I guess along those same lines, do you get to control like what cities and what tour stops you go to, or are there preset areas that are just better for your material, or because I've done stand-up comedy and I know based on like what crowd or what city the vibe is different, and so like how much thought goes into like that?
Yeah, the vibe's definitely different. You play in Seattle versus Orlando, and whatnot, but it's like I talk about things that people know. I'm at a good advantage because people have known me over the past decade from television. They've seen me, they've grown up with me, if you will, and seen me fall apart as I get fatter, lose more hair, get a little bit more gray. So it's been interesting. They come in knowing me and they get to learn more about me, which is, I think, what people respond most to my shows.
And that's because, what we've seen and what the fans have seen you on TV, it's you. You're not an actor playing a role. I mean, you're you playing you.
Yeah, for sure. They're not coming to watch Chandler from Friends to his stand-up. I mean, it's Joe. I'm making the same jokes and stuff that you love from me on television. So if you like what I did on TV, you're in for a pleasant surprise when it comes to stand-up, because I spend time talking about my life up there. And a big part of my life is Impractical Jokers, my friends from that show. And then I talk about things that are specific to me now, too. Parenthood, my rescue dogs, growing up with a crazy Italian mother, all those things.
And we're going to touch on all that, but you brought up Chandler. Do you know when Monica is performing and where I can go see her?
She's across the street, I think, from her house.
Okay,
she's down in St. Petersburg.
Well, that would be awesome. So, real quick, true story. I'm on a cruise going to Alaska. My kids have watched it, the old show that you were on. I'd never seen it. The first time I ever saw it was I was on a cruise, and it was the skit where you put your head on somebody's table trying to get fed and doing the yum yum. And on a cruise, while I was on a cruise, I thought it was all just meant to be.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I got into some crazy stuff on Impractical Jokers, but the num-num is like the sound that has stuck with me. I've got a lot of catchphrases from that show, but a lot is when I eat. Like, I'll have people come up and show up to the show with the words num-num on their shirt, N-O-M, N-O-M.
That's awesome. I always ask fighters when they come on, the craziest, strangest, whatever, in the middle of a fight. What's the craziest, funniest, strangest thing to ever happen to you, with you, while you're on stage performing?
Oh, I mean, come on, you can't. I've been on stage a long time, and my life has been crazy. But, I mean, I guess at one point we were talking about how I think we were somewhere in Ohio, and we were talking about how I was like had a big fat belly. And one guy yelled, "Not as big as mine," and then Q it said, "He's the biggest and baddest I know." And the guy stood up and yelled, "I challenge you." And we took our shirt off and did an impromptu sumo wrestle on the stage. And that was really fun. He was a fun guy. And, you never know what you're going to get with me. I always, I come from an improv background. If the crowd's fun, I have no problem diving in, talking to the crowd and having a good time.
So Joe, Clearwater, home of Hulk Hogan, they call maybe the GOAT. Hogan always talks about how he was offered a job as a banker before he did his first wrestling match. And he heard the crowd and the roar of the crowd, and he just knew he could never do anything else. I assume it's the same for you on stage with the crowd. But what was that career going to be before comedy if this didn't pan out?
Well, I had a bunch. I mean, I graduated an accounting degree, so I was going to be an accountant. Could you imagine that? I don't even balance my own checkbook. But I think I had gotten into sales. I was doing sales for a long time. And my last career before my career in comedy was I was selling high-end baby furniture and gear at a baby store called Giggle. And I used to be a personal shopper at those stores. So I guess I would have been a baby store salesman.
There you go. I'll buy. Are you a sports fan? And if you are, what team, what sport, what do you enjoy?
All the sports. I'm into all of it. The goals and the points and everybody when they're doing the home runs and everything. I'm a fan of my town, New York. So I'm always rooting for a New York team when they're playing. I don't really follow anybody. I'm not good at sports besides bowling. I'm pretty competitive when it comes to that. But it's really, I just enjoy a good game, though. Like I love, especially live. I love going to live games.
So I've always wondered for a city that has, like New York, has the Mets and the Yankees, hockey, basketball. There's like 77 teams in the state of New York. How do you determine which one you're going to root for when they play against each other?
I go for the underdog. Whoever's got the worst record, I'm their number one fan.
All right. There you go. There you go. So, again, Friday in Jacksonville, Saturday in Miami, Sunday in Orlando. What goes into, fans they buy the ticket, they sit in the seat, they watch you perform, they have a great time. I don't think a lot of fans realize what goes into your stand-up, what goes into a stand-up set.
Yeah, there's definitely some work, and it's been a trial by fire a little bit. When I first had to make the decision to leave the show and, figure out what my next move was, I knew that I wanted to perform and keep people laughing, and so my camp was like, hey, you should do stand-up. You're used to getting up in front of people and talking. So the first time I did it was in Appleton, Wisconsin, and I did a 30-minute set. So now I'm up to over an hour, and it's a really refined set, and I'm super proud of what I put together. This content's really fun, has a great response from people. I'm proud of it. I think it's really funny. So it's nice to be up there and actually feel like I'm giving people what they want, and which is to come out and laugh with their old friend Joe, So I'm really excited about it.
I never knew that I think it's called a teetotal, until I was told that you were coming on. I did, went on Wikipedia, I did some stuff. So I guess I am that, but explain what that is.
A teetotal?
Yeah.
I don't know what a teetotal is. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's on your Wikipedia. It's about not drinking.
Oh, okay. Well, Wikipedia could be made by anybody. You can make any other. A teetotaler, I think that is. And that is somebody who just drinks tea. I think that's what it means. But it's I've never been drunk, tried a cigarette, or a drug in my life. And I know what people are thinking. It's like, how did this happen then?
Well, that's why you're not in the UFC.
And neither have I. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, that would be me. Has a fan ever pulled a prank on you, whether it's on the street or at the meet and greet or something like that?
No, they try, but I mean, I'm the Jedi Master. What do you can do? I see it coming a mile away. I've been doing this a long time. Some people do try and whatnot, but for the most part, people are just want to be genuine and meet me, which is nice, and I appreciate that. They get to talk to me as a human and have a good time and have a nice conversation. So the meet and greets are a great time for that. I get to hear from all the fans about how I've been there for them during their tough times and happen to make them laugh, and it just means a lot to me.
I know we only have another couple of minutes, a minute or two, so two more real quick ones for you. We broadcast every Wednesday from a pizzeria here in St. Pete. You being the Italian, what doesn't belong on a pizza?
I mean, this is going to be controversial, but I don't think anchovies go on a pizza. I don't like an anchovy pie. I think it's a weird topping. I think it kind of ruins it for me. You get into the pineapple debate with people, so it could go any way, but for me, it's anchovy.
Final question before we hit one more about, the next three stops. I know that you do a podcast called Two Cool Moms. I'm curious. I want you to talk about it, but what if the two of you do agree? Like the knucklehead across from me always wants to argue, even if he really agrees with me. Do you guys ever agree on a subject, or is it point and counterpoint?
No, it's basically, we give our insight and we do agree. It's actually funny. I just filmed today. We did some episodes today of it, our Two Cool Moms podcast with Steve Byrne, who will actually be on the road with me this weekend. He'll be coming to all the shows. He'll be in Miami, Orlando, and Jacksonville. So it's great to have him with me on the road. He's super funny. And we just, sometimes we're like-minded, and more often than not, we give pretty similar advice to things, but it's nice to respect us in two different ways of growing up. I think that's the way it really happened.
Awesome stuff, Joe. Thank you very much. We're going to put you back on hold to get your address. We're going to send you a care package from 8 Man Strong. Hopefully, we'll be able to get up there and get some tickets to see you on Sunday.
Please do. Thanks so much, guys.
Awesome. Very good stuff. Seen him on TV numerous times, and now you have the opportunity all over the country. He's back out on tour. Joe is in Jacksonville Friday, Miami Saturday, and Orlando on Sunday. So